So this conference is actually about connecting the three networks that already focus on resource-oriented sanitation.
It's the Netzern from Germany, Valou from Switzerland and ihre from France.
That also gathers some people from Austria, Belgium or Spain to put everyone around the same table just to share all the information we have, because we all have kind of the same issues.
But we also have very few resources, so we really need to see how we can tackle the large problems that we have, the large barriers that we face efficiently.
We need to raise attention to this topic, and there's so much knowledge, so many wonderful ideas and approaches, and we need to communicate it and show it to everybody.
In our topic, it is all about personal relations, and we want to put this to a next level, build an even larger community, share, learn and communicate more together.
We need fresh, innovative ideas and a circular approach to consumption in order to achieve the changes we desperately need for our people, planet and nature. We need to create an environment that encourages research and allows new approaches, addressing pressing water risks so that resource-oriented sanitation can become a reality.
The German network of sustainable sanitation system, Netzern. We bring together different stakeholders, everybody who is into the topic of sustainable sanitation systems, to work on the sanitary revolution.
So the RAE is basically the National French Ecological Sanitation Networks. The goal is to gather all the knowledge of the members and to have a unique voice of the ecological sanitation in France.
Valou is the Swiss network of circular sanitation that was found at the World Toilet Day 2021. Valou has the mission to promote resource-oriented sanitation in Switzerland by bringing the actors together, working on the field, by spreading knowledge and awareness about the topic, and by improving the enabling environment to promote such systems in Switzerland.
One of the most important points was to make an état des lieux, like to know how every association is working.
Examples from the different associations shown that paradigm shift that we want to achieve is the same, but the changes that are needed in each country are similar, they are not the same. And this translation into the country context is very important. But then gathering at the European level and sharing helps to reassure that we think in the right direction and we find the right examples.
So it's important that we also know what is happening in the other countries, that we can put this as arguments in the political dialogue and also telling what the other countries are doing, because this can challenge and motivate the political actors to also cope with this topic and think about their tasks to do to make the sanitation transformation possible and happening.
So the Water Hub is a physical facility, laboratory for testing processes and testing technologies that have to do with resource-oriented sanitation. We have available the wastewater streams that are produced from the people that use the building, that live there, that work there. We separate everything at the source and we treat it locally to recover the resources. What we do there, it's strongly driven by the research interests of our researchers, but it's also a platform for testing new technologies together with the partners from the industry, for example, and also for understanding processes that could have then applications in the outside world, so to say.
Blue Diversion Autarky. It was a project financed by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation with the goal to have a toilet, or let's say a sanitation system for the bottom of the pyramid. So those are the people in low-income countries who actually don't have access to sanitation. It's based on resource-oriented sanitation. And the basic concept is actually source separation. So we collect the urine separately and then actually the water, flushing water and the feces is actually collected together, but later actually separated in an aquatron, and then the water is treated and the feces is treated.
At Wuna, we work as a planning and construction company for any sort of on-site circular resource-oriented wastewater sanitation system. One of the main technologies that we developed is how to produce Urin fertilizer from urine. I think when giving the tour, I realized once more that a lot of people, they were really excited to see the system because they've heard about it. They've heard about Urin because it's still the world's first urine-derived fertilizer with an official authorization, and they've always wanted to see the system. So now this is also a great opportunity for them to see where Urin is produced and what it looks like in real life.
We tried to find out how could we more collaborate and also share our knowledge. Communication between the associations. We need formats. For example, this event was also mentioned as a central tool to share knowledge. We also talked about barriers. There's the language, but also resources, of course.
On the financing side, we need to be careful getting money, that this comes with conditions. And we also have many different members that have different opinions on finance and how to get along with sources. That's a very important point, to be very transparent, to take all the members with us and choose wisely how we finance. Also, another output is that we need to think about having long-term solutions. So there were models discussed where we can use our expertise to also generate funding for the associations, for instance.
I have the feeling that we are still not visible enough. And so we have to address certain stakeholders, target groups, and that's why we first needed to map and find out who are the target groups that are relevant for our topic and how can we address them, with what tools, what formats, and with what platforms.
Very different approaches of how to change the imaginary of our societies. So in an artistic way and also in a very practical way, and a way to build up questions about these environmental issues, and also giving some keys of evolutions and progress to make the sanitation system sustainable.
When we were planning this, we actually didn't at all know, is somebody showing up? So in the end, we were at our very upper limit. We had around 100 people registered to come, and this is really a strong sign also for ourselves that this connecting event was so much needed and so much wanted.
This international collaboration first started with a very small idea, and now it already grew so big with this first event, which worked out really nicely.
As we are pioneers in our fields, we work very solitary and we push ahead. So then often we have no one aside of us and no one ahead of us. But now when we merge, we connect as the networks. You see, you have people next to you that push in the same direction. And I think this is just very motivating.
Here's these very different ways of working, but with similar goals of changing the system. And so the interesting part is to see what each of one of these networks is able to do.
Parler pas sérieusement sur des thèmes très très sérieux, et c'est comme ça que viennent les idées. C'est comme ça qu'on trouve des solutions.
Le fait de découvrir tout le travail qui est fait par les autres collectifs, les autres associations, c'est super enthousiasmant, ça donne envie d'aller plus loin, on se dit qu'on va y arriver, donc ça c'était vraiment génial.
Für mich ist es recht besonders, mal einfach eine normale Person zu sein und nicht die Person, die sich mit Scheiß auseinandersetzt, weil da setzen sich alle mit Scheiße auseinander und dass das etwas Komisches ist, ist da absolut gar nicht Thema, sondern es ist selbstverständlich und ja, die Menschen machen mega Spaß.
Die Crème de la Crème der europäischen Ecosan-Bewegung kennenzulernen und einfach zu sehen, wie viele, also in Deutschland ist es schon ein echt geballter Kosmos, aber auch einfach die europäischen Aktivitäten aus Frankreich, Schweiz, Österreich, alle hier so auf einem Haufen zu sehen, ist echt mega cool.
There's so many people from our organizing team that have not been like so much in the spotlight, but who are so important. We are like around 10 people of the organizing team. It's really a big teamwork to make this happen. And then also almost every participant signed up for some voluntary work during the event. So I think it's a really strong sign for us all together that if we all pull together, we can really manage this. And so far it has been a great event.